Hi, I'm Ruth Reinhardt, and I'm so excited to be here with Seoul Philharmonic Orchestra. It's so great to be here in Seoul with the amazing orchestra. It is a very responsive, very fast-reacting orchestra, very musical, very quickly buying into musical ideas. It's just an absolute joy to be here. Detlef Glanert's Weites Land. Weites Land means most literally translated vast skies or vast country or something like that, open skies, something like that. And it refers to the skies over Hamburg, which is both the native city of Detlef Glanert and also of Brahms. And because there's no mountains that obstruct your view, there is an openness, but also it's often dark, it's often rainy. So there's also, I think, a melancholy that is both in Brahms's works and in Glanert's piece in Weites Land. Weites Land is actually based on Brahms, but on the Fourth Symphony. And it is based on the opening measures of it, just the intervals. Ba-dum, ba-dim, and then it repeats itself. So a third and a sixth. And that is essentially the essence that ties this piece together, much like Brahms would have done, that he takes a small interval or something like that and ties everything together. Glanert does it in his very own way, in his very own language, of course. You can hear it a few times clearly in the beginning, in really, really slow motion, very, very slow motion. And the beginning feels very much like being lost, just searching. There's even not a sense of metronome, of pulse. It feels a little bit like in outer space. And then it starts gradually coming together. And also in the end, you can hear it quite clearly in the basses. The piece has a soulful melancholy to it sometimes, but also has those big outbursts, those forceful eruptions that we also know from Brahms. The piece basically starts softly, builds up, there's more and more gestures, and even so some dancey elements come into it. It builds up to a big climax and essentially just comes back down to a very soft ending that is kind of just making peace with it. It's very similar to the ending of Brahms 3. Brahms 3 is just an incredible piece of music. It's very hard to talk about those big artworks, I think, because they're so much more detailed and nuanced than anything we can express in words. His Third Symphony was the least performed, but I think actually it's probably one of his best symphonies. It's probably least performed because it ends very softly. It doesn't have a triumphant ending, or it doesn't make the audience kind of jump out of their seats immediately and start applauding really loudly. It's more of it leaves you with such a richness and deep understanding of yourself or life or so on. The first movement starts very heroic. It's maybe, some people say it's his Eroica symphony, F major, but already the second measure makes you doubt if you're really in major or if you're maybe going to minor, or where. In this whole piece there's this ambiguity between major and minor, and I think that's what makes it so interesting, because it makes it so rich and so deep, and so that we can't quite put the finger on it, enigmatic in some ways. But even despite the first movement is kind of heroic, it ends softly again. Even the second and the third movement end softly. It's very unusual for a piece of that time to have all those soft endings. Second movement is very beautiful. Yeah, it's just great. The third movement is probably the saddest love song ever. It's very melancholic, but so beautiful. It's so simply structured, so clear in its structure. It repeats the same beautiful melody many, many times. And the fourth movement starts softly, which is also unusual. But then there's so much contrast. There's big eruptions. There's going back to the soft, as if you're trying to contain the energy, or you kind of feel sorry for what you just said, for the outburst that you just did. And very dramatic movement, which again, then after a big climax, settles down into this kind of, maybe one could call it autumnal colors, or a sense of coming to peace with things. And it repeats the theme of the first movement, but now it's kind of it's lost all its ambiguity. It's lost the minor. It's just clear, and it's a beautiful, beautiful piece of music. Very deep, very, very much about just the human condition and everything that we are always going through. And I hope you'll enjoy it just as much as we will. We're going to perform both Strauss concerti with Yun Zheng. He is just incredible. First of all, I don't know of anybody that has performed both Strauss concerti in one concert. It is essentially like running 2 marathons in one day. It's incredibly taxing, it's incredibly difficult, but what I find more compelling about him is actually not the sportive aspect of it, but that he's an incredible musician, so natural, so easy to follow, such a beautiful sound, and a really lovely person too. This is my first time that we work together. Of course, I heard about him in the last 3 years, but I'm so excited to work with him now. It's such a pleasure to be here in Seoul, which is actually my Asian debut as a conductor, to be working with the amazing Seoul Philharmonic Orchestra and Yun Zheng, and we have this incredible program for you. As I said, I don't think you'll hear very often both Strauss concerti in one evening, but also you won't hear them with such an incredible soloist. And the other works that kind of have a connection, the Brahms has a connection to the Glanert. It's just a really great concert, so I very much look forward to seeing you there.